Okay, so not my usual type of video for today. I'm kind of going to take a break, but I'll be back tomorrow with the Nizzy Project 2 video, and perhaps I can work in cover another song, another video as well. This weekend I might do a little for fun stream again. I'm not sure. I've been playing around with the idea. I've used my VPN to connect to a South Korean server and actually played some Overwatch there with some players from the sort of Asian regions. You know what I mean? Some like obviously Korean players, because the names are all in Korean. It's not English names. But it's quite different, and it's pretty fun too. The only thing is, if I do that, it'll be at 3 in the morning, because that's like 6 in the evening over there. So it's a more there's more people playing. Like it's a better time, right? So if I do it, it's going to be like a middle of the night kind of stream. However, I wanted to state this sort of intention of mine, right? Because I started getting this feeling creeping up on me. It's been for a few months now, and it's a logical direction to kind of want to move in, right? And it's the kind of I don't know, just the way my brain works, kind of. But what I've really been doing here on this channel over the past over a year now, having discovered the K-pop music industry and all of these different groups and their companies, and really sort of diving into much of the process, even some of the shows like Nizzy Project that deal with the formation of groups and the establishment of new groups and debuts and all of this. But at the core of it has been a musical study of, analyzing these different songs, identifying the different elements, the different aspects, from the sounds that are used, the chord progressions, the sort of melodic lines, how all these things kind of actually fit together. And I started thinking, obviously it's fun to make the videos. I mean, it's a blast to just enjoy the music also, right? But it's inevitable that I'm going to want to do something with it, it just, I can't really help it. I get really into things. And as part of the process is not just absorbing, but putting something back out. Like there's some meaningful sort of output. And so where this has kind of been leading to is I feel like I would like to try and create a K-pop song, compose a song, a track for potentially presenting to maybe a company to get them to agree to have a group perform it, And so I, as you can see, I have a score template made up here so that I can begin work on this whole process. It's not gonna happen super quickly, I have already picked out a key and sort of have like a basic idea of where to get started, but of course it's going to evolve over the course of time. And because I'm the only one who's working on it as well. Like if you notice the production on many K-pop tracks, there's several different people who work on it, right? From composition to production to songwriting. Like there's many different minds that are coming together to produce a track. And so what I'm doing, and I understand this, is that I'm taking on kind of a big task here, because I'm essentially going to be doing everything but the recording and the production. You know what I mean? The idea is to have something that is fairly substantial, and so that when I present it, for one, it's quality, and like they'll say, okay, yeah, this isn't like, just something thrown together. There's actually some work, some time and some effort that's put into this, as well as some competence, right? Some musical literacy also. And even if they just want to take, the main idea, the main progression, right, of the song, and they want to use it, of course, I would be honored, and I would love very much for even that to happen. And what I would expect is for the work to be presented, right, and then they're going to take it through their production process, which means they're already experienced and very knowledgeable production staff will sit down and say, okay, I see what's going on here, and where a certain sound is used in this part, I think it would be better if it was changed out for a different sound, right? If you have like an instrument sound here, well, I think this works better as a synth sound, or okay, like little things like that, to even, bigger changes, like perhaps they prefer a different percussive rhythm or something. I expect alterations to probably be made, but the hope would be to sort of streamline that and make it really, really easy, so that they either don't have to, or the idea is like very obvious and they kind of know already, okay, I see what is happening here, and this is where I would make a change, and I make a change here, and make a change here, and then that's it. Like we can use that. It's very accessible, right? So if anybody has any idea as to who, to reach out to, I mean, of course, there's various contacts for the different companies, and there's different ways to try and, pitch something, right, to different companies. But since I do have some really awesome viewers, and everybody knows so much, like there's definitely some of you that I know you have musical experience and even industry experience too. It just, from the feedback I get from the things that people tell me, I'm like, a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes, or how this stuff actually happens. And so of course I'll be doing legwork as well, with trying to network to the right people, and all of this is like down the line anyways. I'm just getting started here. We're not really ready to reach out to anybody yet, but I thought this is of course logically where this would sort of move, right, in this direction. This is, like I said, something with my own mindset, right, where I've absorbed all of this over the last year and some change, right, as far as discovering groups and their sounds, and going through their albums, and new groups, and like seeing what's going on, learning this sort of evolutionary line of like the beginnings of K-pop to the generations, right, leading up to where we are today. And it just it's very intuitive that it's like, okay, I mean, I got to do something, right? Like I got to do something with this. I got to and it's partly wanting to give back a little bit also, but I've seen, like I said, all these things that have happened, even to things like on A2K, where now we have Gina emerging as an artist in her own right, and she does write, she composes melodies and writes lyrics and all. and so it's very natural to be inspired and motivated to create something like that. So this has been an idea, like I said, it starts off in the back of my mind somewhere, right, as I'm continuing to hear things and listen to things and study and sort of analyze these different songs. And it isn't just limited to the video. Like most everything that I react to here, I end up continuing to listen to over and over again. And I become very, very familiar with the sounds, and as I've stated before, you'll hear a song for the first time and you'll get the main idea, a lot of the big parts, but in subsequent listens you'll start to hear little things here and there that you didn't catch the first time or the second time or the third time or however many times, right? Like who knows, but certain things will pop out to you and you're like, wow, I've never heard that before. That was in there this whole time, right? So it's something that just is ongoing, and I've really appreciated the composition and the musicianship behind a lot of the different songs and groups and everything. It's really amazing stuff that's going on, and the freedom as well. Like it's unlike other music that's out there because it's not so constrained stylistically. It doesn't have to adhere to certain sounds and not that it's a bad thing. I mean, when you hear a rock band, you expect to hear drums and bass guitar and electric guitar and then the vocal. Like there's a certain mix, right? There's a combination of elements that should be there to represent the sound. But K-pop is really, there's so much freedom. There's like anything is accessible. Any sort of sound you can think of, as long as you can make it fit and as long as it makes sense, and you can get creative and you can dare to do things here and there that you might not see in other genres or in other sort of styles and everything. And so because really it's a combination of styles, it's a combination of genres, and it's pulling from this inspiration and that inspiration and creating something out of all of these different elements put together. And that's one of the most fun and engaging parts of it, has been my experience anyway. So that's just kind of where I'm at with this. This is the beginnings, right? The very humble sort of beginnings. I'm just here at home, but I've gotten to that point now. Like and the thing is that I kind of have to do it, or at least have to try to do it, because otherwise it becomes this, it's like an idea that gets in the way, right? Like I don't know how to explain it, but it gets in between me and everything else that is going on. Even when I try to sit down and listen to something, it ends up being sort of an obstacle in between me and sort of real, clear and intentional listening, because I have these ideas that start to come up in my head and they don't have anywhere to go, right? So I'm trying to give them an outlet. I'm trying to give them some place to go, and this is, I've done this before. It's been a while, man. It's been a while since I've tried to write something, and so but I've been doing certain things over the course of the past year. I've been playing some of these songs. For example, a lot of Twice songs, I'll sit down once I get the chords and I'll play the song and I'll sing along with it to really get like a good feel of what's going on with each track, And then the things I've done is I've picked up a bass guitar and started to play and learn about the bass using K-pop songs as my, practice songs, right? And so working my way again towards in this direction, right? But it's just one of these things that, I'm sure other creative types out there can identify with what I'm talking about, where you just reach this point where, like it's an idea that needs to get expressed and it needs to be let out like somewhere, right? Otherwise it starts to gum everything up and you can't like think freely, and then you start to get sort of bogged down in the mire of of trying to keep up with certain things, but always feeling like there's something that needs to be done, and then other things start to also get pile up. It's just like, oh, I need to do that, but I need to do all these other things also. And so I'm kind of trying to work my way through that and avoiding getting really gummed up anywhere else. But I just wanted to put this out there because I think it's important to sort of make the declaration of it, like to state the intention of like, I'm going to do this, right? That's an important thing for me, not, for me personally. Other people, I'm sure that a lot of people can just sort of do it, and some things are like that. But when it comes to this, I think it's like it ends up being a necessary part of the process to state your intention, make a declaration like, this is what I'm going to do. Doesn't mean I'm going to succeed, right? Like that doesn't mean for sure, but it's important to know, like, this is what I'm going to try and do, right? The attempt is there, the will is there, the inspiration is there, and who knows, but I figured, like I was saying before, I've gotten so much engagement and so much feedback and really learned a lot from everybody who watches the videos and shares insights and different information about groups and songs and companies, like the whole thing, right? So what I wanted to do was just announce this, and then obviously as time progresses working on this, I'll keep you updated on like where I'm at and what I have done, and I might occasionally be able to drop a little snippet or here's a little sample of like what's going on and what's been sort of written or where it's at. It's progress, right? Just progress. And then if it'll be a fun thing, like let's say it actually does work, and let's say I write something, I put it out there, company says, yeah, that's pretty good, we think it'd be all right for this group, and then they actually do it. Wouldn't that be crazy? Like, wouldn't it be crazy to see, right? And do the reaction to it here, and be able to kind of give an insight from like, okay, well, this is how it started and this is how it's going, right? Like it would be fun. I think it would be a fun, awesome sort of thing to do. And I think it's a good time for it also, in the broad view of things, as the K-pop industry is starting to really expand and become this international, sort of industry presence, you know what I mean? Things like A2K, like Nizzy Project, I mean, it's spreading out all over the place. And so I think it's probably the most appropriate time to make that type of engagement, right? To like offer it to sort of help work on that bridge, on that connection, on that work of actually bringing the two sides together. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at. And I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm going to try my best, right? I'm going to try. Those of you that have been with me over, most of this past year and seen how I like to really jump into things and really get into it, right? Um, you'll be able to tell, how much I'm really want to put into this, right? Like it's a thing that's been building up inside for a while, like I said, and I'm sure any other musicians, writers, composers, artists in general, whatever it is that you do, even if you are into painting or videography or something, that feeling of something that wants to be created, right? It's almost like, yeah, I want to do it, but it's a thing that exists on its own, and it needs to be brought into reality, and that's what kind of happens through you, right? It's a thing, it's an idea that is complete on its own, but it needs to be translated so that it can exist and be accessed by everybody, by the different minds and the different listeners, right? If that makes sense. It will or it won't, but either way, this is where I'm at now. And so, with that being said, I'm going to get to work, and I will continue, with the channel, the videos like normal. This is just going to be something that I'm doing when I'm not making the videos, and so that's it for now. But I just wanted to share that and make that statement. And I don't know. Hopefully, we can pull this off, and because it would be fun. And it would be fun also, I think, to share that with everybody, because I appreciate everybody being here to watch the videos, to respond and share experiences. It's been like way beyond anything that I could have imagined already. And so I think that if I can do this, and you guys can be here for it, you can always say, if like say we make it, and this ends up being used in the industry somewhere, right, by a group. Well, you'll always be able to say, like, no, I was there, man. I was there. I know the guy who wrote this song, right? I remember when he said this was going to happen. And, it'll be a fun thing. So I'm going to get to work. And, yeah, but I'll be back tomorrow with Nizzy Project 2 video. And we'll continue on from there. So that's it for now. I got to get to writing.